boys and girls, guys, gals, and non-binary pals, my name is Ashley Cooper, and I came here tonight to share with you a secret. In case these hips, these shoulders, and this voice haven't yet given it away, I'm trans. And if you don't know what that means, that's okay. I'm here to help. There are two types of gender in the world. Not two genders, two types of gender. The first is cisgender. That's most people. That's probably the majority of you folks here. That's when you're born, the doctor says, it's a boy, and you grow up like, okay, cool. Transgender, on the other hand, is when you're born, the doctor says, it's a boy, and you grow up like, I don't remember asking you! Being trans gives you a bit of a unique perspective on things, namely gender and the way the world treats it. I had a friend recently do a gender reveal post on Facebook for her baby. Yes, she was white and straight. It was innocuous enough, right? Like, it was just like, we're so excited, we're having a girl. And all of her normal friends are doing what I'm pretty sure you're supposed to do and just congratulating her. But I'm the bitch hiding behind her keyboard, wondering whether or not to slide in there, like, well, maybe. Being trans is, we'll be polite and call it a mixed bag of experiences. On one hand, I'm living my life on my own terms. I have the support of my friends and family, and I'm slowly growing comfortable in my own skin. On the other hand, governments are regulating us out of existence, trans murder rates are reaching epidemic levels, and I can't find heels in a size 14. It's the little things. And that's not even to mention the myriad of flavors of transphobia that one can experience. Like, I don't know if you guys know this or not, but there's a corner of the world that's just decided that trans women aren't a real thing, like unicorns are equal pay. And they've just decided that we're men, and they've diagnosed us with this made-up term that has no basis in medical science called autogenophilia. And I've got a lot of problems with this, but it's not my show, so we'll just focus on the two big ones. The first, am I alone in thinking that's too many syllables? Like, what happened to tranny? When did bigotry get so fucking complicated? And my second and I suppose probably bigger issue that I have with this is the definition of this made-up term, which essentially boils down to a man that's turned on by the idea of being a woman. Are you fucking kidding me? Do you think if I thought anything about this was sexy, this is what you would get? I didn't even choose this outfit, guys. I told the world I was a lesbian, and this showed up in the mail. Yeah. Soft butch Kurt Cobain's walking around in a constant state of arousal. Jesus Christ. But fine, whatever. These people can come up with whatever made-up terms they want to talk about us, because the federal government of Canada recently decided that trans people are protected under hate speech laws. And I think that's pretty fucking cool. Yay. You know who doesn't think that's cool is every Chad and Kevin that you've ever met in your life. Because they're all losing their minds over what? So, I'm gonna go to jail if I use the wrong pronouns? Yeah! Like, no, this is obviously not what's going to happen, but these people have convinced themselves that respecting trans people is the beginning of a slippery slope that leads to a Hunger Games dystopia where Laverne Cox is President Snow. And I just don't know what to do about this, right? Like, as an individual, as like a single person. I don't know what I'm supposed to do up against systemic transphobia. So I've been doing my best recently to focus my energies on things that I can change. And one of those things is my voice. Now, estrogen will do a lot of things for you. It will reduce your muscle mass, it will promote breast development, it will soften your skin. But contrary to popular belief, it doesn't change your voice. That you have to train. And I'm not super thrilled with where mine is quite yet. I feel like I sound like you remember when you were in high school and you used to skip? You'd be out home playing video games, watching TV, whatever your flavor is. And the principal would call to check up on you, but your mom's at work, so you pick up the phone. Like, yes, this is an adult woman, please ask no further questions. That's where I am with my voice, but also just kind of coincidentally, holistically. I mentioned estrogen reduces muscle mass, which is basically my doctor's overpriced education way of telling me that I'm slowly getting weaker. Learning some exciting new ways. I recently lost the coveted title of House Jar Opener. You see me. Like, not that long ago, it was not uncommon for me to hear my roommate calling me from the kitchen in need of assistance. And I would slide in there. I would twist that lid off and I would disappear into the night like a pickle Batman. But life's not so simple anymore, guys. Estrogen's taking its toll and it's just gotten to the point where I can't do it anymore. But somewhere along the road, this became a weird matter of pride for me. Like, no, Courtney, we will eat pickled beets again. But I can only do what I can do, right? And so it ended up being one of those work smarter, not harder situations. And the solution I came up with may or may not be related to my recent discovery that Dollarama sells hammers. And I know, like, there are things I could do to counter the effects of estrogen, right? Like, I could work out, I could exercise. But frankly, I'm eating Oreos for breakfast, trying to make the fat go to my hips, so I think this is just it for me, guys. A lot of things have changed since coming out. Oh my god, it's hard to ignore. It's been very interesting kind of tracking it all, though. Because there's been a very clear delineation between my guy friends and my girlfriends. Ever since I've come out, my guy friends have done this really cute thing where they don't listen to the words that come out of my mouth. And my girlfriends and I now play this really adorable game called Let Me Know When You Get Home Safe. It's just nice to be included. But the thing that's changed the most since coming out is that I now navigate the world as a diverse individual. Whatever the fuck that's supposed to mean. Like, don't get me wrong, I love having stage time on shows like this with incredible, diverse lineups. But there's just something about the label that never seems to have quite fit for me. And I think part of the reason for that is the way that it was introduced to me for the first time. It was back before I started to do comedy, and I went to go talk to my friend about it, and she said, "Oh wow, you should do really well at that. You're diverse." Which should tell you a lot of things about my friend, namely that she doesn't work in comedy. But the reason why this fucked me up was because, for context, I started doing comedy back in the winter, like February-ish. And so it was cold as fuck outside, which means my ass was in Uggs and a Canada Goose jacket, and it was a coffee date, so we were at Starbucks. Now imagine that picture under the dictionary definition of diverse. Right? But it gets better, because we're standing there, and she says the words, "You'll do great at that, you're diverse." And then, as if on cue, the barista from behind me, "Pumpkin spice latte for an Ashley?" And I get it. I'm trans, I'm queer, I like all three Matrix movies, I'm a minority. There's just something uncomfortable to me about the concept of diversity encompassing the most basic white bitch you've ever met in your fucking life. You know what I mean? Like, on my way over here, I was listening to Kesha, guys. And not like new empowered Kesha, like old white trash Kesha. I have to say, though, there are things about navigating the world as a visibly trans person that aren't particularly funny. They're just kind of, generally speaking, uncomfortable. I was out recently with a friend, just out for a Monday night going to get some food. And over the course of the evening, I had a guy push me out of the way on the subway and say, "Hey, move it, tranny." At the restaurant that we went to, the waiter repeatedly called me sir. And on the way home, a drunk man sang Aerosmith's "Dude Looks Like a Lady" at me. And the friend that I was with was absolutely baffled by this. Like, he's heard stories like this from me before, but I think there was a part of him that thought I was exaggerating. And he looked at me and he said, "Ashley, I don't know how you do this all the time. I don't know how you're not just constantly punching people left and right." And I looked at my well-meaning friend and I said, "The answer to that is simple. Estrogen reduces muscle mass." Thank you very much!